Hello everyone, and welcome to this video. My name is Alejandro Rondon. I'm a pre-sales engineer at Centreon, and today I want to talk about the auto discovery engine. As we know, manually configuring host, adding their IPs, data types, etc., and all the associated services that we might have is quite simple in a supervision platform like Centreon. We just have the console, the menu, make it very easy, and especially when we have all the monitoring pack of connectors that Centreon offers, that you can select the different devices, the different servers, applications that you want to monitor. You just need to just add them into the configuration. However, this manual approach quickly becomes unmanageable when we're dealing with hundreds or thousands of hosts. And then on top of that, we have to multiply the time that we have to consider, because all of the services that we want to supervise on each of one of those hosts. Now, what if your infrastructure is flexible and elastic? So, for example, you're using VMs in a hypervisor, or you're using containers on our orchestrators that are constantly turning on, off, adding new services, removing old ones. Whether you have them on-premise or with a cloud provider, you solely need your IT team to spend less time working on configurations and focusing on what truly matters, that is keeping your business, your core business, operational and thriving in today's market. To help you stay online and supervising everything, Centreon is offering you the self-discovery host starting in the IT edition. This way you can just set jobs that will automatically monitor your network, monitor your different servicers or hypervisors or orchestrators, and adding all the different hosts that you might need. So in this video, we're going to demonstrate basically how that self-discovery, auto-discovery job works both for host and for services, and how you can use it to improve your time and focus on what really matters. So without further ado, let's start the presentation. So here we have the console. So let's say that we want to add a simple supervision discovery job on an SNMP community. So for that, we just go to our host and discovery. Then we're going to add a new job. And here I'm going to say, for example, SNMP Discovery Sample. And I'm going to select one of the providers. The providers comes with the connectors pack. So all of the different servers or applications or hosters or orchestrators or hypervisors that we might need, we can have them, we already have connections with them, with APIs, to retrieve all the information that we need. So now we just need to select which is going to be our monitoring server. In this case, we're just going to use the central. That's okay for us for right now. We don't need to use any pollers. Then we do need to add the parameters of our discovery. So for example, the minimum information that I need to apply is, for example, the network that I'm going to monitor. So we're going to connect to that network and check all the SNMP devices that are on that version. So it can be either in the same SNMP port, which community, etc. All of this information, we can add them. Then we can add the mappers. Mappers, what are going to do is allow us to use the information that we retrieve from the job, all that metadata. We can use it for properties, for example, the name, the IP of the host, or we can use it for macros, if we're using any macros for our templates. So for example, SNMP community versions, etc. And of course, each accorded template that we're going to have. So for example, if we detect that the server and the response, the metadata contains that is equal to Linux, we're going to apply the Linux SNMP custom template. After that, we do that with all the different information that we receive and all the mapping that is done. We just need to define the policy that we're going to use. We can use a manual policy. That means that we're going to check manually which host we're going to add or remove from the supervision. or we can actually use an automatic approach. So here we just decide what are the conditions that we're going to check. If we're going to disable if we don't find them, if we have some any other information that we might require, we can update or remove or add different hosts according to the test. Just for the test today, I'm going to use a manual. And finally, we just have to plan the execution. Of course, this job can be executed on demand. So every time that we just going to execute the job, we execute it manually, or we can schedule. So we can select every year, month, week, day, according to your requirements. How often do you want to check your network for new host or removing a host? So again, I'm just going to do execute immediately for an example. So once I do this, we have the job that is running. So it's going to do all the checks in our network. It's going to check that everything, all the hosts that we have on that SNMP community. And then if we refresh, the job has been done, and we have discovered 78 hosts. So when we see the host, then we can see, for example, all the metadata that we receive from this quest, from this query. So for example, what the host name was, the type, the IP, the community, etc. And with that, we can just map it to use all the template, all the information that we want to add them for the monitoring. So for example, here we detected that it's a Cisco standard. So that means that we're going to apply the Cisco template. Of course, this job we can actually edit in live real time. So if we want to, we found something new, we found something metadata, we want to add a new template, we can add another map on the top, so you can continue improving this discovery job. And with that, we just need to add a new host. We can just add them to the networking, to our supervision, and that way we have an up-to-date supervision. So this is the first example, which is basically an SNMP community. But let's see another example. Let's say that we have using some on-cloud cloud provider. Let's say we're going to use Amazon. So again, let's test. We can do that. So I'm going to add, for example, this will be an EC2 Discovery. I'm going to select again the provider that I have according to the connector packs that I have installed. So let's just search for EC2. So we have here Amazon EC2. Now we just need to again check which is the server that we're going to use. We don't need a proxy for this time, so I'm just going to remove the user and password, so we don't need a proxy. And we're going to connect using some credentials that we already stored. This is because we're going to use the API, the Amazon API, to retrieve all the information that we want. So for that, we do need credentials to use. Then I'm going to say what region we're going to use. So for example, US 1. And again, the rest of the configuration is the same. So all the mappers, all the update, the policy, all the plan of execution plan, we can do it is exactly the same as before. So again, I'm just going to launch this job, and we see we have them available here for discovery. So once that we finish, we know that the job has been done. We detected 13 new hosts, and we can see the result. And as we saw in the previous example, we will retrieve the list of all the hosts that are available to monitor from that provider, from that cloud provider, and I can receive all the data that we're running. So for example, well, here we're running, there are some instances in our AWS environment. So we have, for example, what instance type, what their state, the information, their IP, the name, etc. On all this information, we can retrieve them and use them to add them again to our monitoring. So that is how we handle easily hosts. And we can automatize this process, so we can actually receive them and update them regularly in our perimeter without ever actually needing to do and manual configuration. That's for the host. So now what about the services? Because of course each host has different service. So for that we do have the same principle. It's called service auto discovery, in which one we have a scan, which we can do manually, or we can do rules. The rules are just scans that are automatically done. So for this demo, for this video, I'm just going to show you a quick scan on a host. So for example, here I just choose the host. Let's say I'm going to use this, that I know that is a Linux server. And then I'm going to see what are the rules that I can apply. For example, let's check this is a Linux server, so we can do, for example, the disks, the nodes, the processes, the traffic, everything that we can have. But of course, this can change according to the type of host. If we have, for example, a network interface or a router or a switch, we can retrieve, for example, all the interfaces, what are being used, what type of LAN, VLANs we are using, etc. All of these services that are in our templates, in our connectors, we can use them to save information. So here, for example, let's just check for the process name and we're going to scan. When we do this, we're going to retrieve all the different services that we can actually monitor for this host. So as you can see here, we see all the different processes that are running in my Linux server, and I can just select them and add them to the supervision for that host. So again, that can save us time instead of manually creating the different services and different configuration. Here we can just add them, all the information is already there, and we can have them already. So with that, we just finished the video. So thank you very much for all your time watching the video. If you want to have more information, you can see more videos in the YouTube channel, in the official Centreon YouTube channels. We will have link below. Or you can actually contact us via the Watch community, which is our open source community and actually not only for open source, but also for our customers. And of course, you can ask for a demo if you want to see more details about this. So with that, thank you very much and goodbye. See you next time.